VeadoTube. This VeadoTube, not this one. So I'm gonna go over a tutorial on how to use the full version of VeadoTube. You'll learn how to import your drawings and layer them, add motions, use Boolean to control the flow, change a simple state, and add a microphone filter. Kinda like this at the end. So enjoy. Okay, so when you first load up VeadoTube, you'll be seeing this particular screen. You'll have three particular options when you first start, which is the mini avatar, the dynamic avatar, and then the scene. For this particular instance, I'm going to be focusing on the dynamic avatar. If you just want a simpler one, you can create a mini avatar. If you want more complexity coming into it, you'll create a dynamic avatar. I think for this particular instance, if you have multiple objects that you kind of wanted to move and create a dynamic avatar would be a good solution to look at. Most of the stuff that you learn, going to be learning in dynamic avatar, you can reapply it in mini avatar as well. And then the last part is the scene. The scene is basically what's at the end. So once you've created the avatar either from the mini or the dynamic avatar, you upload it into the scene, and in the scene is where you kind of make the final adjustments. It's going to be your final output of how your stream is going to be outputted. So your final avatar will be ready to stream in the scene particular section, but we'll be going over that in a bit. So first things first, we select the dynamic avatar. You'll be introduced to this particular scene. Don't worry about it. I'll go over more details about what each one does. First and foremost, what you want to make sure is if you've got this object here in the node, this is going to be important because that's going to be the main part where you're going to be adding stuff and building on top of it. So first thing first, you want to go over to the bottom right corner called assets, create on new item and create a new folder. So that way you can just organize the stuff there. So for this particular one, I've got a character which I've got Belgium, so I'm just going to create a folder there and double click on that. You'll be inside the Belgium folder. Click on the plus icon and import the media, which will be included all of your stuff. Now if you already have a model uploaded, then you can upload a model, but for this particular instance, we're just going to assume that you're going to start from scratch. Now what we want to do here is we want to add this into our layers so that we can bring it into our main part to make some editing. So what we would do is hold shift and then click on the last one to select all, and then you can just drag and drop it into your layers so you have everything in it. So now we're going to go over like what each particular section is for. Layers is basically how you want to layer all of your images that's coming in. It's if you've used PNG Tuber Plus, it's similar to that, how you kind of want to order things. You don't need to worry about the Z order. You just like rearrange it to, if you want things in a higher level, you just put it right at the top, and so forth and so forth. Canvas is where you do your kind of your editing, move things around to see how it is. Preview is just the final end part over there, and then you've got the layer properties in the side, which you can pretty much manually enter some stuff and then change some of the settings. There's pins and dynamics. We'll go over a bit on that, mostly on the dynamics part, but that's pretty much this. So now to get started on this is, now you've got all of your layers, you want to kind of build things up, right? So pinpoint what is your main particular focus, or our main particular focus or body part is going to be is my body and then my head. So I want my head attached to my body, so you just want to go over there, so click on it and then go inside that body, and then you can see like a black square over there. That means that this head object is inside this body. And then you can do the same thing over here. So I want all of my eye related stuff inside my head, so I just add it in, and then all my toes are gonna be inside my body. So just select and then drag them all over there. That's pretty much it. So yeah, you got all of this stuff here. Now we just want to kind of like spread things out so that way we can just add things all together. So we have things over there on the side, the pupils and stuff like that. So first things first, what you want to do is you want to attach all of the stuff. So all of my eye related assets inside my head. So you want to make sure it's attached as well. What you want to make sure here is there's two ways of doing things, which we can go over in detail, which is effect groups on and off, which basically allows you to add an additional like transformation on each one. But for now, I think we'll just do like a simple one to just showcase of the stuff here, right? So first of all, just place on wherever you want the head base to be, and the next thing here is go on to each one and then click on dynamics and attach. That way you're kind of attaching each one to your head base. So example would just be like this, and then you kind of want that to be attached to your head. This add dynamic, attach, I want to attach it to my head, so forth and so forth. There's a quicker way of doing this as well, but that will include everything. I'll go over that as well. So you just, for this particular one, just do this for each one. All right, now you have this. Now you can just attach each one in the head. So this is gonna be my main one. Oh, my bad. No, I don't think this is in the correct layer. So my bad, it was not attached. I was like, weird. Now you can see it's like kind of in between it, right? A bit weird, but yeah, it's now attached. So now we have this. It should be on the top. Sorry, that should be my head base there. Attach a thread there, and then I have my eye pupil. Sorry, that's my pupil in there. So I want that in the top, so you can just like move it across there, so it's right at the top section instead of it going at the back, right? So you have this. Perfect. Now for my left and right toes, my foot bit there, and then my eye alternative, which is going to be my blink eye. I'll just place it here. I'll just like make it invisible for now. So perfect, we have this, and our preview is here. Now we kind of go into the node part to kind of make it more dynamic, make it move a bit. Let's just make it move up and down. So for now, just right click every part and then just hide them for now, because you don't really need them. And if you, in case you do need them again, it's just on the left hand corner there. So yeah, we have this. Now what we want to do here is we just want to make our model, build a model to move up and down. So what we do here is anything movement related stuff we do in the nodes. We also add in the layers, but let's just go into nodes first. So first of all, we right click. There's a lot of options there. What we want to do here is mostly focus on things that change. So our main stuff will be our generators, which will give you a couple of options. Blinker is going to be one of the options that allows you to kind of blink, which I'm going to go over. Jumper is just a normal like jump scale up and down. Shaking is just like normal shake, and then wave is just like a point in space, just goes up and down kind of way. So in this particular one, we use a wave here. Next thing we do is right click, we click on, so we click on point, and then click on construct, which will give you a construct, will give you like a position on where a particular is, like an x and y value. So if I click on that, sine and cosine here, this will give you like a wave kind of value that's going up and down, like a sine wave. And then the same thing here. So first one is our x coordinates, and then the second one is our y coordinates. Perfect. Now we've got our input function, like our input saying, hey, go up and down. And now we kind of want to put, where do we actually want to put that motion in? I want to put the motion in the body, which is in the main part. So I click on body and go on to dynamics, click on add dynamics, and then click on move. If in case you want to delete it, you can just right click and then delete the dynamics there in case there's a lot of stuff. So again, right click and then click on move, and then this will give you the multiplier, which is our x and y coordinates. How much do you want it to move? And then once you click on that, you'll see this particular node pop up, which is going to be your body that you created that I wanted to move. And in here, we just select that value and then put it here, so all of the information will go inside here. Right now it's not moving because there's no multiplier, it's just the same. So let's say I want to move it up and down, right? So I'll change the y value to go 10. It's just going up and down. Okay, not my bad, it's just this is not being attached to this one, sorry. So go into Beldum, I forgot. You want it to attach it to the body, so it just goes into that. And I forgot to attach it to my legs as well. Attach layer body, attach body. So you can see it going up and down. Now go back to the body section over here, and then let's say I want to make it go like really crazy. Put it 100, right? It goes up and down. Now it's a little bit too slow. What if I wanted to make it a bit fast? You go into the waver, that's your main part where you can adjust the amount and the velocity. Let's say I want the thing to go a little bit crazy. I put 5. So I want the amount of the up and down going a bit more crazy, so it's gonna go way down. Instead of that, I want it to be very, very fast. You can do that, and it goes 10, you know. goes up and down, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much it. So that's how you kind of make it move. There's also another part I did mention before, which was about, let's say you also want to move the individual pupils to go up and down. Like, how do I do it? You can always go into each particular one and then add a dynamic and then, you know, add a crosshair into a separate one, or you can just go on to build them head and then click on affect group. That will affect every part that's associated with it. As you can see, it goes up and down here. You might need to like just move it across right here, right? So in case you want everything being affected there, then you can do that. You might need to change the output here, but it looks a little bit crazy, so you can just not affect the group, so that way it's not affecting everything. And I do have to like change this a bit, something to keep in mind if you do want that. But I think the easier way to just click on each individual ones that you kind of want to move, but there is an optionality if you want to affect the whole group instead. So it's a right click to move around, by the way, in the mouse, in case you want to move it around. So that's that. I made a move. Now what I want to do is I want it to blink. Now how do I add the blinking coming into it? So for the blinking, the same thing, right click, generators, and then click a blinker. Now this will give you a Boolean value. A Boolean value is just basically saying, hey, something happened, is going to be either true or false. So an example would be, hey, do you want to go to McDonald's? You either want to go or not, right? So it's a yes or no, kind of like this. Like, are you blinking? Yes or no? In this particular instance, what's happening is that it waits 3 seconds for it to blink. So that's the main part of what the blinker is doing. So that's the blinker. Now this is a Boolean value, which is, it takes a true or a false value saying, hey, did it blink or did it not blink, right? After 3 seconds, it blinks. So that means, hey, it blinked. So what we want to do is we want to have a Boolean stuff. So we go into right click, compare and convert, branch on Boolean. That is the main thing that we want to do. So, right, we have this. So branch and Boolean. And I realized I messed up on a couple of things, so we'll just keep that here for now. I just forgot. So there's another part which is called states here, which will be included for the blinking. So states, if you click on plus, which is going to be the same thing that you see in VeadoTube, right? Different emotions, different expressions coming in, and we have the state group here that kind of popped up. We can just keep on the side here. So for now, we kind of want a state where we see it being open eyes and then closed eyes section. So in here, we can just say this as like a blink group, right? This is our off section. What we can do is +1 and then just change that to open. And then for everything open, you want to select everything that you kind of want it to be open as. So in this particular instance, I will want this to be affected. So everything green will be shown that, okay, in this open, this will be all of the assets that will be in play that is going to be affected. So that's that. And then just click on the +1 and then we'll make another one saying it's closed. So in here, we have the same thing that we did here before. What we want here is we want to change this to invisible, the front eye to be invisible, and then we want just this to be visible. So that way our open is this and our closed state is this. So you can see here, right? This is what we kind of want it to happen. So that's that. So that's our state. You know, initial state is our blink, saying in the state, the animation is going to be open or closed. Now, perfect. We have that set up and we have the blink state set up here. We'll just keep it on the side. Now we attach this into this. So green on green, pretty much just Legos, I guess they put it as. So in here, you can see that in here we have the Boolean value, which you're going to put in, and then it takes either a false value and true. So we know in 3 seconds that it's going to turn true. So you can see here, this turns true. So this is any value that turns false, and this is any value that turns true. So we know for a fact that when 3 seconds happen, we want something to be true, which is gonna be, I want the thing state to be closed. And other instances, I just want it open. So how do we do that? We give the value so that way we can push it along. So what we do here is do right click, get a string, and then add a value, saying that I want the value as open. So you can see open here and we can see open here. So anytime if nothing happens, I want it to stay open is what's happening here. And in case after 3 seconds, I want it to blink. So you can just copy paste that and then change that to closed on whatever name that you put in here. Make sure you put the same name. So you put the state here and then, blanches it. So it's saying that, okay, 3 seconds later, I want it to be closed. Other than that, I want it open. So that's that. The next thing that we want to do here is we want to add in a state, which is technically taking it here a state, and we kind of want it to be a state storage. State storage is basically saying, so this is my open and my close value, which is just a normal text, right? But we actually want that to be an actual state, which means I want this state to be here. So I want the open to actually point to the state that is open. So this is what we use the state storage for, to make sure that once open, the actual open is here. So what we do here is we do it there, and you can kind of see it changing, right? So 3 seconds later, it's closed. All of that, it's open. So that means that it's basically saying, hey, after 3 seconds, I want it to be closed, and then other times it's going to be open, but I make sure that it's actually from the state that you're selecting in. So that's this. And then now the next thing is our final bit is our blink state. Now, what do we want to trigger? Which is going to be a blink state here. And this state storage is changing open and closed. That means that that is the correct value that's being populated, and we want it to affect a blink state. So now if you click on it, you can see here in the preview, it's closing. If I just click on that, if I break it, you can see it's not doing anything, and you can see it's changing, but it's not doing anything. So you just gotta do that, click that there, and bam, you have the blink state kind of set up. So perfect. Now we have our moving up and down value, and we have our kind of like a blinker state, which is working. Next thing that we want to do is we want to have like a microphone saying, if I kept on talking, then I wanted to trigger something. So let's get that set up. So what we do here is click on right and then click on input. On input, you can have a bunch of wide variety of inputs here. Your camera, which does have you can use that for, facial tracking for other parts, your cursor, gamepad, whatever. For this particular instance, we're going to do our microphone because that's what our thing is going to be picked up as. Then we are going to click on right click, compare and convert, which is basically saying, hey, look at this thing, and then I want to change it to something else. In this instance, it's going to be an activity slider, which is basically saying if it reaches a certain threshold, then I want it to do something. And that's similar to what you see in the VeadoTube mini kind of format here. So in here, we just want the input here. So this is our main input, and then we put it here. This is gonna be there, coming in. And then right now it's not working. So you want to make sure your microphone is selected. Right click on that and then select whatever microphone that you have. Right now you can see it's picking up my microphone values here, and then it's basically being shown. So whenever it reaches this threshold, it will send like a value inside. Now the next thing is this object input. Now what is our object input? Our object input is basically our model and whatever that we feed into it. You can add in more details here to kind of build things up, but for now this is taking like you can see it's taking a value and it's pushing here. So once it reaches a certain value, it gives you like a value saying if it's, is it going up or down? Similar to what you see in a blink, right? Boolean value, yes or no. So we kind of want the similar thing to happen here to be captured. So we right click our object input, create a node input. You can change that to saying mic activity or something, right? So that way And then in this, we can say we want our usage to be a Boolean. So our Boolean, you can see the color the same, similar to what we see in this blinker. So this activity slider will give you a Boolean value saying, hey, is this on or off? Kind of way. So this is what we do. Put that in. So all the value that goes into the object passes in, which is going to be our beldom, and then we do everything else that's coming in here. Now next, what we want to do here is the same thing, compare and convert, branch on Boolean, right? So which means that if I click here, it's giving you either a true or false value. So if I if I go here, it's a bit harder to see here, but you can see, right? So as I'm talking, you can see it's being true. But if I say quiet, nothing really happens. So that's what happens. Now with the same thing, we want two things to happen. So, but before we do that, what we want to do is I want to make my whole building, my whole model kind of scale up and down, right? So I want to focus on what I want to scale. For this particular instance, I want the whole body to scale up and down. So I go on my body and then click on add dynamics, and then there should be an option called scale. Now this will give you a value of how much it's going to scale at. And then next you should get, there you go, it's like hidden somewhere here, like this node value that will affect the scale. You can see the scale here. Now we want whatever value to, so whenever it's true, I want the building scale to increase. Now in here, I'm gonna change the value to whatever that I wanted to do. So what you want to do here is click on right, click on number, click on number and click on value. So this is the value. So whenever it's false, I want it to be something. So I want it to be, you can change that to 1. So that means that it just stays as it is on how it is. And you can just copy, Control C, Control V, copy paste, and then get the same thing. Or you can just right click and add the same number value, saying that, okay, if I talk, then I want this scale value to increase. So you can just do right click and any value that you want. Let's say I want the scale to increase by 5 times, right? So whenever it is true, then I want it to be big. So you can see here, as I do that, then it just turns big. And you can just play around with it a bit here. Maybe just do like 5 or something. A bit too big, I guess. All right, a bit too big. This is a little bit too big. Maybe I'll change this a bit here, so it's a bit more manageable, right? The delay, this is the delay of how long it's going to stay there for. So you can have this, it's a little bit too big, so you can just have like maybe 2.5 maybe. So as I'm talking, you can see it's going big, and when I wasn't talking, it was going small. You know, that perfect there. So this is all like a bare bones of it. You can technically do the same thing, like add this particular one in this. So you can have the blinker and then add this to an object. That's how people would kind of do it, but then you also have to do it in the test scene. But I think it's fine for now to make it easier. But this is a bare bones for now. We have our belt and body move, which we have a waiver that makes our body move up and down a bit. Next thing, we have our blinker, which is blinking yes or no, saying open or closed on that, on this particular state. Next thing, we have an activity meter, measuring a microphone to make our model scale up and down. So play around with it, like right click to play around with the generators, with the jumping and shaking, play around with compare and convert, the Boolean value, and then play around with the state, which is going to be the more state that you can add in here. That's that. So we have our like main stuff set up. Now just save this, which is going to be like saved as like our model file. This is going to be our VeadoTube. So we can just save it, and then let's close the file and then create a new scene. So in our new scene, we can see kind of like the similar stuff, but more kind of values. So in our node section is going to be the node that we kind of build up. We might need to build up, actually we'll need to build up here. And then we have a WebSocket server of if you want to kind of connect to your Steam Deck or anything else to kind of do it, or go code around with it, you can use that. But for now, what we do here is click on import and then load in whatever model that you just created, which is the VeadoTube. Just rename it to anything that you want. So you have this. So remember the object that we saw before? That is our object there. Now you can see the mic activity here, right? That it needs inputting. So what you can do is do the same thing that you did before, which is input, which is going to be our microphone. So that way, when you're in here, you can always change the stuff. Instead of going back to the actual file, you can just use this as a main part and then change it here instead. That's one of the reasons why we kind of do it here. And then we do the same activity level before we input it here. So compare and convert activity slider. Put this here. And then this is our stuff. Pick the microphone that you want to do, and then there you go, bam, it's working. You can see it moving up and down, right? It's not as much dynamic, but you know, you can just play around with that, I guess. So that's it. And if you want to put this in OBS, just put it as full screen, and then use the same thing in your OBS for the game capture, and you should be able to kind of have it in. So that's it for the whole tutorial. If you've enjoyed it, do let me know how it goes. If you want more kind of tutorials in, comment in below and do give us a thumbs up. That will give me an indication to make more stuff. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it and catch you later.